Welcome to the latest episode of Platform. Today, we're going to be speaking to Geraghty. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 5 to 10 years, you will have heard of Casey. He is part of the Black Bandit Media crew. They are responsible for so many videos in recent years, including breakfast, lunch, dinner, pasta la vista, chicken 2, wings, buffalo. Basically every year they release this incredible video of their crew from, I think they're from Connecticut, but they're all living in Los Angeles. And it's just the funniest, most original skate media that you're likely to see. It basically looks like nothing else that anyone else is producing. And on top of being really funny and entertaining and always having like little clever like narratives throughout the videos, they also have amazing skating from people like John Lake, Mike Dempsey, and you've guessed it, Geraghty. This year, Casey, on top of producing videos for those guys, he's also released 3 sections on his own called Casadilla, play on the word quesadilla. Apparently, he's got a 4th one in the works. He's also responsible for releasing John Bolino's VOD comeback section, which was out, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago. Apparently, they're also working on a follow-up, which is almost done. So, going to talk to him about all of that stuff. Before we do, cue the music.
The platform. The platform. The platform. The platform.
Yo.
And we've got action. Andy's invited the dog along. God, it's a gang meeting.
What's up, man? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I was worried for a second because when you came on, normally it just shows the image first and then the audio kicks in. But when it opened, it was just a black screen, and I was like, here we go. This is gonna
Yeah, the old Zoom issues. No, it's looking good.
Are you not living in LA right now?
I am, yeah.
So why are you wearing both? You're wearing a hoodie and a beanie, is it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
It dropped below 30 degrees Celsius for once, yeah?
Yeah. Once it's the opportunity hits, you gotta take it. I've been out here for 7 years, and like I came from the East Coast.
I was about to say Connecticut, wasn't it, or round about there?
Yeah, Connecticut. Yeah. So, yeah, I've completely become a wuss when it comes to the cold. I don't want any part of cold weather, snow, any of it. So as soon as it gets below like 70 here, I'm like, get the beanie, let's get the hoodie.
So you've acclimatized. You're a West Coast softie now. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, God, it's a little chilly out. It's like 25.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like 2020 has been your year, because when everyone else has been suffering, you've just decided to go on a Skater of the Year tear.
That's nice of you to say.
We're currently making the unsponsored Skater of the Year statue, so it'll be with you in 14 to 20 working days. So you just,
yes.
Right, cool.
Yeah. Well, you got to hold off because I think I'm putting out another part this week, short part.
That's why I wanted to snag you now. I wanted to get
sick.
you before, because if you make a disappointing one, I can say it's not my fault. I spoke to him beforehand, right. And if you make a great one, I can pretend to be a prophet that knew it was going to be. I was like, I told you, greatness.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm literally just waiting for like the Super 8 to get back, which should be here like today, and then I'll put it out this week.
Super 8? Are you trying to crank it up a notch and make this one an art piece?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I always just have the same like fisheye long, and I've had a Super 8 just sitting there forever. And when we made the Sunday Park video,
yeah,
Brandon shot a roll of film, Sayer shot a roll of film, and Dempsey shot a roll of film, and so just compiling all that film because I was the editor, I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. So I kind of wanted to steal that vibe from them. So yeah,
that's got to be a pain in the ass to do, like turning that from film into something you can use must be
It's not that bad. There's a place out here that does it really easy for you. Like you order the film and you prepay for the development and like the digitizing ahead of time. So you just get the roll of film in the mail and then just drop it off when you're done, and they're gonna like email me the file. So there's this place out here that makes it super easy.
And it's not expensive to do that.
It's not cheap, but it's worth it.
Right. Okay. Beauty comes at a cost, right?
Yeah,
okay,
and I mean, I mainly got it because I'm also making another Bolino part.
I also wanted to ask you about that, but right. You're getting
Yeah,
ahead
I
of
don't
yourself
mean to-
here. You're getting
Yeah.
So
I don't mean to
I've
flood
got
you
a
with all
process
the-
here. You're screwing it up. Let's talk about all
But I
these
want-
sections
yeah.
first.
Yeah. So
three. Why? Normally we get one section from you. You and the guys from, well, the last time I interviewed John like about 4 years ago, and he said you guys were all still living in the house then, but I think he was planning on moving out, and it doesn't, from the background, it doesn't look like you're in the same place.
yeah, no, all 7 of us live in here.
Yeah, and this,
Mike
yeah,
sleeps there. John
2-bedroom
sleeps there.
apartment. We're just
Yeah.
we're really close. And I was under the impression it was just like a tradition you guys had, like a year long, like we'll bash this out and then we'll have a premiere in the back of the house and basically party. But this year you just seem to have gone out on your own and went, I'm just going to make an absolute ton of killer sections. And yeah, as you said, 3 down already, 1 to go. So what the hell's been happening this year? Why have we suddenly got so productive?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the answer is simple. I basically lost my job at the beginning of the year. I worked for a TV network, and that network shut down. And I found myself with a ton of time, a ton of energy, like kind of. And then that also coincided with like the lockdown and like coronavirus. So I just honestly, to maintain my own sanity, I pretended I was a pro rollerblader. I was like, I'm just going to pretend like this is my job. I also was like not drinking that part of the year. Like I decided to take like 90 days off drinking, and that just happened to coincide with like the beginning of quarantine. So I was really like, I got to get out. I got to do so. I would go crazy just sitting inside, no job, no like socialization. And I put out Casadilla 1 at the beginning of the year because I had finished my part. The guys were kind of wrapping up theirs, but we couldn't put out the video and have like a proper premiere and proper party because of the lockdown. And so the guys, I just had a discussion with the guys. I'm like, look, I don't want to sit on this footage for too long. I tend to really start to hate my footage when I have it for too long. I just want to put this stuff out there, and then I'll make a new part for the, to have be in the video with all you guys. And they're like, cool, put it out and film a new one. You, whatever, do your thing. So I put out Casadilla 1, and then Casadilla 2 was supposed to be my part for Charles Broccoli. And then I finished that relatively quickly and was like, I'm kind of in the same position. Like California's not opening it up. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to have a big party. Nobody wants to put out the video yet. All right, here we go again. I'll put out this section and just call it Casadilla 2. And my next thing will be my Charles Broccoli section. And then it just keeps
I'm sensing
happening.
a pattern here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just kept going out, kept skating. The first 2 were mostly the first one was with the whole gang. The second one was pretty much just with John. Like we would go out and skate a bunch. And then John went to the East Coast. And then me and Bolino were skating a bunch, working on his VOD. So yeah, that's just how it's been going. And then this one, same deal. I've just been going out a bunch with Bolino. And yeah, just finished another part. I mean, they're all short parts. Like the third one was like 90 seconds. The first 2 were like 2.5. So they're short parts. It's not like I'm going out filming like a 5-minute banger. It's just, short little deals.
I mean, you say they're short, but there's no slow-mo in there, and you're just cramming in loads of tricks. So if you did the whole like ramp slow-mo a few times, you might be able to stretch that shit out to like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, easy.
Yeah, you're right.
So you said you lost your job But I remember, was I not right in thinking like you had your own like sitcom for a while or something going on?
Yeah, so I worked for the Audience Network, which is like DirecTV's television network. Eventually, AT&T bought DirecTV, so it was AT&T's network. Neither here nor there. But yeah, so my first gig with the network was I worked on the Dan Patrick Show. I did that for like 5 years. I also hosted his like wrap-up show. And then once I got out here, I still was able to work for the network. I just basically essentially transferred from my hometown of Milford, Connecticut to LA. And when I got out here, I was doing a short like web series thing.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
my
because I
girlfriend.
remember seeing like you guys posting about them every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of the editors at the network showed the head of the network what we were doing, and he was like, "These are great. Let's put these on, as interstitial, comedy entertainment stuff." So we were like, "Cool." And then that just progressed a little bit, and then we ended up making like 10-minute episodes. So a season for us was like 10-minute episodes, and we did a couple seasons of that. And then, but yeah, that was fun. Like basically the whole gang got to work on that. Like Dempsey would direct it. Golembeski would produce it. Rosen would act in it. John would act in it. So it was a fun time.
So is that over now, or all of that come to a halt?
Yeah. So basically we did 4 seasons and that was it. And then after that, I worked still for the same network. I just worked on other projects. Or I worked on like the Rich Eisen show as a camera operator, and I would do some like sketches for him here and there. Yeah, so we did 4 seasons. It was great, and we tried to like turn it into other stuff, but just didn't happen.
So did that make things tough for you when, like, I'm guessing you got made redundant, or then like what happened when coronavirus hit in the US?
So it was weird. The network was shutting down regardless of
Right.
Corona. Like, so it just happened. The timing was like just weird where we happened to be shutting down the network at a time when like most things were getting shut down anyway. They actually kept us on for a little bit longer at the start of like the lockdown because it was like they didn't know what was really going on, so it actually kept us employed for a little bit longer, strangely. But yeah, so now I'm just doing like freelance video stuff here and there wherever I can and trying to get a new like permanent gig. But like I said, I was in lieu of going completely insane, I just pretended I was a professional rollerblader and went out and skated every day.
I mean, you're in one of the places to do it because you've got the weather all year round, and then you've got an infinite amount of skate spots if you just drive wherever the hell you want. And then it's not like you don't have the caliber of skaters to like push you as well. So, I mean, even just
exactly.
Like even with like Mike and John alone, they're really good. But then when you start adding in all the pros or former pros or whatever the hell we're calling them in our industry now, incredible skaters that aren't getting paid what they should be. There's quite a lot of them out your way, and you seem to be hanging about with most of them. I mean, I've seen you guys in the background in John Fromm edits and Bolino edits, Sean Darst. Like, you guys seem to be just hanging about with all of them.
Yeah, it's largely due to the Sunday Brunch thing. Just like that really like brought all of LA skaters together. I mean, that's why the first Bolino VOD got made. Like, he wasn't even skating, and then just like started to come back, and then all of a sudden, to no one's shock whatsoever, was ripping again immediately. And then, just hanging out with the guys every week, every Sunday, and like skating a bunch and then drinking some beers and talking shit. Like, John was like, "Oh, I think I could make another part." I'm like, "Bro, I'm right here. I got a camera. Let's go." So yeah, I think a large part of the productivity was also just the relationships formed from Sunday Brunch.
Right. I was going to ask about that because, from my understanding, because obviously guys from the UK go out to California every year for Bladen Cup, and they said they'd even seen Bolino and like went to see his band perform. I think they said it was it Viper or Whiskey a Go Go, or it was one of those. And apparently he wasn't even skating anymore, and like just wasn't even really entertaining talking about blading. I think he was just like done completely. And then Instagram clips just started emerging online. You're like, he doesn't look as if he's been away. Like he still had like, he still looked rock solid on skates. He still had the confidence, and he was still doing like weird creative tricks, which you don't expect for someone that's been out. Like their brain still is working that way. So how did he first start coming along to Sunday Brunch if he wasn't skating anymore?
I honestly think Dempsey invited him over to his place, the old house that we used to all live at. Dempsey still lives.
Because you guys have known John since you lived back home. Like you guys have known him for years, right?
Yeah, I knew him when he was little tiny ripper. Now he's bigger than me. But yeah, so we've known him forever. So and we weren't hanging out like at all. Definitely, we weren't skating. Like it was kind of like we were doing our thing, like the Dempsey and John, Mike, and me and Nick Taylor, Golombeski, Rosen. We were kind of in our crew. He was kind of doing his thing, even when he was skating. And then when he was just doing music, yeah, we just weren't hanging out that much, just not intentionally, just, you'd get into a routine and, we go out with us, he would go out with his guys. And then Dempsey invited Bolino over for some kind of hang. We were just doing like a barbecue or something at Mike's place. And Bolino came and we were skating P-Rail or something. And he just like saw how much fun we were having. And he was like, oh, damn, like, I miss you guys. I miss this. Like, I think something clicked in him where he's like, maybe had taken enough time off to where he was like craving skating again. Once he saw it, once it was, the hang and like the like energy of like, just being with your buddies and skating. I'm sure just to some degree he didn't know it, but he missed that. And then he was like, oh, damn, like looking at all of our skates and like seeing what was going on. He's like, oh, I'd get some skates. And then I think Julio heard and gave him some skates.
John's got his finger on the pulse. He's like, get that guy on some memes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Julio's just like skate. Everybody gets skates.
I'm starting to get that. Literally everyone I speak to knows someone or has had a pair of skates off Julio, and I'm like, I'm now just referring to Julio as Santa Claus because
he's the most generous dude. And then obviously we were all like, oh, come to brunch. That was kind of when brunch, we were just starting to get into our routine like a couple of years ago. And then, John started coming to that and then was ripping. And I was like, dude, let's make a VOD.
I was about to say, so what was the time period from John like showing up and basically putting back on skates for the first time to then you guys going, right, let's get to work. Let's do this.
Probably like 6 months.
Okay.
It wasn't like immediate.
Yeah.
I think he did need to get like his sea legs back a little bit. But man, it didn't take long.
Because like some people have been like, oh, it's amazing to see him back. And you're like, but you can tell he's not quite back to 100% yet. But then I was like, if this is just an indicator of like him getting warmed up and then he's already filming for a second one, and I've seen some like screenshots, I'm like, well, if that was the warm up was pretty impressive. So what's coming next is sounding promising. Yeah,
it's bonkers. I've never seen anything like it. Like he's a straight up prodigy, in my opinion. He's just like, he's so athletic and so in control at all times. It's insane and just crazy productive. We'll go out, he'll pick me up at like 10 a.m. We'll go out, and by 1 o'clock, 1:30, like he'll have 5 clips, and we'll be like, do we keep going? Like, what's the point of what do we do? Let's go get a beer and let's look at this footage and just be like pumped. Like he's just insane.
And listen to some Kate Bush and
yeah.
I saw the Instagram clips. So see when you go out, does John film you as well? Did he help you film any of your parts or? Yeah.
I had to teach him how to freak the 0.3. Yeah, he's coming along as quite the little filmer there.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, we'll just take turns. But for the first one, it was like he was the priority. I'm like, I'm coming out and filming you. If I don't get any clips, fine. Like you're the priority. But if we happen to be skating a spot that I wanted to get something on, yeah, he'd be like, I'll film you.
Because it seems like you guys have kind of found spots that have then leaked into other people's parts, because there's stuff that I've seen in John's VOD, and then literally a month or so later, Alex Brosco's got a section coming out and there's shared spots in it, or spots that you're famous for, like the one that you always do a line on. It's like a short rail and then a stair set, and you did like the fakie 7, then the forward 7 down it, and then you see Brosco skating it, and you're like, well, those guys must have told Alex where that is, because that's their spot.
Yeah, I was there that
There's
day.
spots that you just know
go ahead
to
and take
now be like yours.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the assist on that one. I was there that day. I was actually. It's funny that you bring that up. I was. I think that was the first day I ever skated street with Brosco.
Right.
And I was just like, he's my hero. He's my favorite skater. I was just like nerding out. I did like a cab royale on the first rail, and then landed in fakie 7 the stairs for no camera, for no reason, just like.
Well,
and
other than try to show off to Alex, of course.
Exactly. I'm like, Case, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? I was just like, but I was just so like skating street with Brosco. Let's go.
Just revert to like your 15-year-old self, and you're like, you just grom out.
Exactly. Totally. I was like a little bit embarrassed and a little bit like, whatever, man. Who cares?
That's got to be one of those experiences that can be make or break, though, because Bladen is so small, it's so easy to meet like your quote unquote heroes or people that you've at one point looked up to. And it's one of those things that can very much go either way, because if the person's not in a great mood, or the person just happens to be particularly shy, or you just do something to rub them the wrong way and you don't even realize it, and it might just be your personalities clash. It can just be an absolute like deflating experience.
Does that happen to you?
I've had experiences where, well, because through running the magazine over the years, I've had interactions with people that I used to like hold a lot of respect for, and then as a result of those interactions, being like, well, I don't really think as highly of you anymore. And I'm sure it's worked. I'm sure people have seen stuff and then went, oh, he seems like a nice guy, and then met me and thought that guy's a dick. So yeah, but like, and because Alex kind of has a reputation for being quite shy as well. Like, he's not really known as like the outgoing, loud, sociable type. So what was it like basically spending a day with Alex in Skating Street?
It was sick. It was awesome. Yeah, he was super nice. He's a funny dude. Yeah, it was fun. He didn't seem quiet or anything to me. We were just talking shit, skating, and joking around. It was fun. He's a cool dude.
The only 2 times I've interacted with him is one when I interviewed him and quizzed him relentlessly for about 2 hours, and he was probably just like, I don't want to answer these questions anymore. And then other times I've been at events where events are quite overwhelming places at the best of times. So there's only certain types of people that can really turn it on there and be like, oh, and be, the man of the room kind of thing. Yeah. How did the whole Sunday Brunch thing, because that's become like this big movement thing now where you've got the website. I didn't realize you had so many videos. Like, there's like 20 videos on there. Then there's obviously the full length that you edited. And then there's the clothing line, and now there's a skate. Like, whose brainchild was that? Where did that all come from? Because it just seemed to, like, I saw it on Instagram being like, oh, that's really cool. Like, they've got Stockwell and they've got Billy O'Neill and stuff like that, and just hanging out, and Brandon Smith, and basically so many different generations of skaters.
Yeah, Murderers Row, yeah.
And then it's like, and now they've got a ton of content. They've got a clothing line and a skate and a wheel.
Yeah,
that went from nothing to 100 in no time whatsoever.
That escalated quickly. Yeah. It started with McMullen and Cruz, just like on one lunch break. They were like, "Hey, let's skate," and then it turned into just the following weekend. They're like, "Oh, let's just do it Sunday and like go get micheladas after," and then I got the invite, I think from Cruz or Jeff or something, and I had never even met Mike McMullen. So I went, and I think I've been to almost every single one since, and me and McMullen are like best friends now. So yeah, it's just a super fun vibe, and like the group of dudes is gnarly. We've all gotten pretty close. And then with the video, we we were obviously doing the weekly like GoPro thing, and like half of the fun of Sunday Brunch was like, it doesn't matter, like you can do a trick shitty, it's just for the GoPro, like we're just having fun, like just skate for a couple hours and then go to a Mexican joint, get some micheladas and tacos and talk shit. And then at some point, I think we had made like 50 of those. And Mick McMullen was like, let's just, let's not go crazy, but let's do a slightly more professional version of what we're doing. Like, yeah, it's fun, but we could still have fun and kind of make something. So we were trying to figure out like what that would look like. And we just settled on like, all right, well, my camera's good enough and like still fun to use, because it's like, it's not like a clunky HVX. It's just like, still fun little camera. Throw a fisheye on here and whatever. And so we just spent 10 Sundays, taking a break from the Instagram posting, basically just keeping it to ourselves, and threw together the video, and me and McMullen worked on it together, and Yvonne helped with the graphics and everything and gave notes, and it was a super, super fun thing to make, and I'm really proud of it. And then with the skate and the wheel and everything, that's totally just McMullen and John being like, you guys are doing something, let's make something out of it. And yeah, McMullen's just like a creative workhorse, like that the faucet like gets turned on and you can't turn it off, and he's just like, well, let's do shirts. Like, I just low-key designed a wheel, and like if you need graphics for this and you need graphics, he's just like the most productive and like helpful, and he's just always down to be making stuff with the buddies.
It did kind of seem inevitable, like something like that would happen, because you guys aren't just a group of skaters. There's a massive group of creatives in there as well. Like I saw Sarah Danforth was there. Obviously he was like involved in Life Plus. There's yourself, like working in the film industry and making skate videos. Jeff, like photographer. Then Mike McMullen does like advertising and like graphics as well, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just, you guys have got so many more things in common than just skating. So it just seemed inevitable that you were going to be like, well, this isn't enough. Like,
it's fun. It's like exactly like you're saying, and everybody contributed, which made it cool. Like on any single day, you'd see like obviously me filming with my camera. Like Nick Taylor would have like his big Sony, like, oh, I'm just gonna I'll just low key make like a quick promo for the shirts or whatever. And like Sayer's shooting, Super 8mm, and Jeff's like taking film pictures, and Brandon's taking film pictures. It's just like, like you said, it's a creative, like productive clan of dudes. And there's inevitable that a lot of content would get made.
It kind of seems like you've got that in most aspects of your life though, because I'm not aware what the timeline is, but obviously all you guys I'm guessing from the same area in Connecticut, or near enough in Connecticut, all ended up in this house in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a like discussed about decision before you moved out there, or did one of you move first and the rest were like, well shit, his life looks better than ours, we're going out there too? Like, this sucks, I'm not staying at home. Because like Mike Dempsey's obviously photographer with those amazing, I can't even tell whether it's Photoshop or they're just really well set up. I don't understand the mechanics of it whatsoever. John Lake's obviously doing does like stunt work sometimes. I understand he does camera work. I've seen him like skating alongside cars and stuff, and he's been in a sitcom as well. Is that right?
He's acted in a bunch of stuff.
And then obviously you've got Mark Rosen doing the whole like Kirby Jenner thing that's just went viral and ended up with a TV show. So how did you guys all end up in that house out in LA?
Mike Dempsey was the first one who moved out. He moved to LA, I don't know, it might be like 10 years ago now, maybe more. But Dempsey was the first one. And then trying to think who was next. Either way, one by one, we all moved out. But I was the second to last. Nick Taylor, we were working together in Milford on the Dan Patrick Show. And it was me and Nick. And then like at that point, everybody else had moved out to LA. And we were just like,
we have no friends. All our friends have left.
All our friends are gone. And I went out. We had like a vacation, and I came out and visited, and I was like, well, of course I'm moving here. Like, it was insane. It was just like, you know, the guys all here skating and the weather. And it was just, as soon as I came out and visited, I was like, yeah, I'm coming out. And then right when I got back from vacation, I basically just asked the big boss if I could relocate. And then that left poor Nick all by himself. He's like, then he was really like, oh no.
He's like, all my friends do actually hate me. He's like, they've all
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. And then, but it only took Nick, you know, a few months or maybe a year, somewhere between those two. And he was like, I'm coming.
So that must also been quite cool that you're all like friends from essentially growing up out in LA trying to make it, and then all in kind of relatively similar industries, because you must have been able to like help each other out at times, because you said that, you know, you've got work off other people, like other people that you grew up with, and they must be meeting people and be like, oh, well, I can't do this for you, but you know, Mike can, or Casey can, or like, and just putting each other in, because networking on your own is hard, but if you're networking with a group, then, you know, it just increases. It's like a numbers game, and it increases your chances.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on living in the house, we were basically a production house. We were basically a production company.
That is what it looked like.
Yeah. Mike was the director. We could all operate cameras. Like Golombeski was, you know, can shoot, edit, produce everything. Also our buddy Jess Dunlap, he was the only one who lived in the house that didn't skate. He's like a legit DP. So, and then you had, you know, Rosen, John, like Nick, my brother Shane lived in the house too. He's, so it was like, if anybody even had like anything remotely close to some semblance of an idea, it was like we had it shot and edited and a rough cut by 8 o'clock that night. So it was just like anything you wanted to make, you could make it. If you weren't making something, it was like, it was on you. And then as far as like actual gigs, yeah, we were just able to pull each other in all the time. And we still do. I mean, me and Golombeski and Nick all worked on the Rich Eisen show. And at one point, Dempsey was doing it too. Rosen was doing it too. So it was just like, it was so easy to be like, oh, do you need anybody to do anything? I have 7 best friends and they're all standing right behind me.
So I mean, it's like the no excuses for not having an idea reach fruition, because how many people have been like, oh, I would love to make this music video, or I'd love to make this like short film, or I've got an idea for like something, but it just 9 times out of 10 it never becomes a reality because there's too many roadblocks in the way, or you can't find like-minded people who want to dedicate their time to your stupid idea. Yeah. Whereas you've literally had a house full of people that were like just ready at the snap of a fingers to drop everything and go, right, let's oh, it does sound like a dumb idea, but let's see it out and see what happens.
Yeah exactly. I mean, that's how the show I was doing became a thing. It was just like, I mean, I shot the very first one on my own, but after that it was like, hey Mark, can you give me a hint? Like, hey Mike, do you want to direct this? And it just became like, yeah, without them I don't think it would have become a thing. It's, you know, just having that level of talent at your disposal at all times. It was extremely helpful, and everybody still is. We still all have each other's backs, and we still all work together all the time. And Rosen and Dempsey are killing it with the Kirby show that I don't know if you saw on their show. It was awesome.
Oh, I've seen little bits of it. Yeah. I thought Mike must have been involved in some way. I thought it's got to be his Photoshop skills, but yeah, I was kind of wondering how that all came about. How pissed are you guys that Mark is like the most famous out of all of you now, and probably gets recognized in the street? People probably walk past and just scream Kirby in his face. Yeah,
honestly, I don't think any of us are shocked. Mark has that like right place, right time kind of quality to him, just like, but he's absolutely hilarious. Yeah, nobody's shocked that he's the one who is the star.
I think it's pretty obvious that you guys have all got a pretty good sense of humor, because in the videos, well, they've all got like just ridiculous names to start with. I don't really understand what the food theme is or where that's emanated from, or if you just thought it'll be really easy to get props for all these videos because we just destroy food.
You know what's funny about that is the first one that we did, we called it breakfast. And Mike was just had pitched the name breakfast, and I couldn't stop laughing. And we were like, yeah, that's it. We didn't anticipate anything past breakfast. So like, it may seem like, oh, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, breakfast, like it wasn't the plan at all. We just laughed at the first idea and then kind of backed ourselves into a corner from a title standpoint, and then just got ridiculous. Like Chicken 2, Summer of Sauce, that makes no sense.
I literally cannot keep up with all the names that are like Pasta La Vista, breakfast, lunch, dinner, wings, buffalo.
Wings.
God,
Yeah.
Can't
so
remember.
the rule is on the night of the premiere for whatever video we're making, that's the night we decide what the next video is called. So we're usually
wasted.
Super wasted, kiddo.
That probably helps. You're like, that's a great idea. Yeah. Unless you can't remember it the next day, then that would suck if you came up with something gold. And then
just write it down.
Yeah, permanent marker it on someone's arm. Yeah,
on someone's forehead.
Yeah. Like some of the themes have just been, and the one that always sticks out in my head is John like eating the chicken wings and then just jumping out the front door in 540 and over that, I think it's a spiked fence or something like that.
Crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. The whole thing is so slippery. Like that's basically ice skating
It looked like one of those things. He made it look a lot easier than it was, but when you actually start paying attention to the details, you're like, that could have went wrong in quite a few ways.
Every way. Yeah, that was dicey. But he stomped it. He's a ripper.
Yeah, some of those are epic. Although, I need to pull you up for something. Because in Pasta La Vista, we've got the 360 wall ride 180 out, which was incredible. You made that look way easier than that should be. It's basically a 540 wall ride, let's be honest. It's a 540 wall ride in the middle.
Yeah.
And then the True Soul Full Cab Soul, which I think I've maybe seen like a couple of people ever do that.
Yeah, Soderbergh. I've seen Soderbergh do that. Props to Jerm.
Well, we need to pull you up because you've committed the ultimate blading video faux pas in that section.
What?
You don't know what's the one thing that you can't do when you make a blading video? You can't reuse a song. You've
you're right.
From a famous, very famous blading video in your section.
Which one was that? I don't even remember my song. We're talking Pasta La Vista?
I can't remember what the song's called, but it's definitely used in Dom West's Vine Street 2 in the OG section, and Scott Crawford and those guys skates it. So I couldn't figure out whether you guys were so detached from the blading industry that you just don't watch the videos, or if you just went, I don't give a shit, I'm just using this anyway.
I just didn't see that part. I just hadn't seen that part.
Because I'm pretty sure it was even like the same, it might have even been like the same year, or you guys released it later that year.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you're right. I blew it.
And that's the end of the interview, right? Good night. Have a great time.
All right, thanks.
But yeah, you guys have made so many videos now. It is an insanely long running series. Can you even remember how many videos you've all made?
I would have to look at the Instagram.
Like, it's got to be at least double figures.
Yeah. Let me see. We got it here. Breakfast. Okay. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. Breakfast 3, wings, buffalo, ranch, chicken 2, Pasta La Vista. I made a bunch of quesadillas, and then Charles Broccoli's coming out.
We only count the full lengths. We're not counting the independent sections.
All right, you're right.
Also, the name. Some of those just don't make sense. How do you jump from breakfast to breakfast 3? Where's 2 and where's chicken 1?
That's what I want to know. No, I don't know. We're just stupid.
I feel like drinking isn't the only thing happening at these parties.
It's the rule is whatever makes us laugh. So it doesn't have to make any sense. It just has to make us laugh. And that's it.
What's the most ridiculous thing that's happened as a result of making these videos? Because you guys set up these weird fake scenarios like, I don't know, John dressing up as a Calvin Klein model, or then like murdering someone for making fun of him, or like weird stuff must have happened while you were making these. It just must have.
I mean, it's all like kind of normal in LA. It's like, it's not uncommon to see a giant strip of bacon karate chopping a pepperoni pizza. It just, you know, that's just kind of the norm out here. So yeah, but let's see, shooting our intros is always a fun day. I can't think of anything crazy that's happened. It's all, it's just our normal.
This is why interviewing people in the morning's a bad idea, because their brains haven't started working yet, and they're like, shit. I interviewed Greg Preston last week, and it was so fun. I was like, man, do you mind if he was like, he's like, I always get up early in the morning. He's like, that suits me fine. And I was like, cool. And I felt like every time we had to do it twice because he had so many stories that it lasted like 3 hours. And both times for the first 15 minutes, I swear to God, his eyes were closed while he was talking to me. He was just like, I'm like, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm awake. And I'm like, you don't seem awake. And then he warmed up and had all the stuff to come out with. But
I'm trying to think. Like I said, I think can't think of anything too crazy. It's always just like, it's just our normal.
Blanked. The other important question: what's happened to the driveway skate park? Where's the quarter pipe and the rails and everything else now?
Yeah, that's still there. That's Mike still lives in the house. It's right down the street from me. We call it the Wolf Den.
Right.
So that's it's alive and kicking. Yeah, we still skate there. We got the box, the quarter pipe. That's still
he's had the audacity to make new friends and get them to move into the house. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I think he might have to be dead to you for that. That seems like a sackable offense in friendship circles.
And I think even there's some skateboarders that might live in the house.
That's just not like intolerable.
Yeah, you didn't hear it from me.
That's fine. That's fine. So what's his address again? Just to send the hate mail, send it around, and send the traitor T-shirt. That's very funny. So you're saying the next Black Bandit Media video will be half skateboarding, half rollerblading then?
Yeah.
Got to get the skate section in now.
Yeah.
Appeal to the wider demographic now.
Yeah.
You're never going to make money off these videos if you don't start catering to the mainstream, right? I mean, I know you're putting them out for free on YouTube, but you've got to start thinking. Got to start thinking of your business head.
You're right.
On top of that, you also you made an adapt section. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that? What happened? Mm-hmm. I'm guessing Peter saw you just absolutely murdering it in all these videos and went, please take some skates.
Pretty much, yeah. I loved adapts. Have you ever skated them?
I have, and Peter made me a pair in return for like an advertising deal we set up, and I skated them for like 6 months and loved them. And then I had a freak accident on a P-rail and snapped my pelvis, and I couldn't look at them again.
Oh no!
It was literally on my lunch break at work, and because you just fall, like I'm like 5'11", and I fell up, like when it slipped out and I went up and then came down, and the first thing that hit the rail wasn't a hand or a leg, it was my and it just broke. And I had to drive back to work with a broken pelvis, and then I couldn't get out of the car, so I had to get someone to like help me out the car to go to hospital. But after that, I couldn't look at those skates because it's like, I don't even believe in luck or karma or stuff like that. But when you look at something and all you can picture is a really horrible incident, I was like, I'm not wearing those ever again. So someone got a really cheap pair of pretty much pristine adapts.
What did you skate after adapts?
When I came back, maybe Aeons for a while, and then realized I hate skating flat, so just instantly went back to an anti-rocker pair of skates.
You can skate Aeons anti. There's no rule that says
I did, but then I was like, the whole point of these skates is like it's meant to be the perfect flat skate, and I'm not using it for its purpose. And plus I had the very first ones, and they had the really stiff cuffs. I was like, why are Royales suddenly feeling like a hard trick? So
I skate Aeons anti, and people give me shit for it, and I'm like, I can do whatever I want. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, you're not the boss of me.
You're not the boss of me, dude. I put whatever size wheels in the middle I want.
I would try them now that I've tried other people's and they've got like the improved cuff on them now. So yeah, I'd be tempted to try them again. But now I'm wearing them's and they kind of do the job if you've got wide, ugly, flat feet, which I do. So problem solved. I'm surprised you
Yeah.
haven't caved into pressure. You're pretty much with like the unofficial them crew. They must do they sneer at you? Do they spit on your skates when you go past them? Saying,
Yeah.
Aeon,
Yep. They beat me
corporate
up.
scum.
Yep. Corporate scum. They throw beer cans at me.
Yeah.
They punch me in my arm
Yeah.
and in my chest. No, I skated thems for a little bit. The Casadilla 3 was in thems. I'm just in between sizes. I was like, I skated the extra smalls.
Extra.
In that part.
What size foot are you? Extra small. You're like
Well, I'm a size 7, but I
Okay.
have thick heel pads, so that brings my toe back a bit. Like I was skating size 6 Solomons, no problem. I skate the smalls or whatever in Aeons, but yeah, I'm just in between sizes in them. So the extra small were just a little bit too small. I just have like a weird bone on like my right pinky foot part. Just from skating for so long, I just have like this weird callus, and that was just like getting messed up. And then a size small I tried, and it's just a little bit too big. So I'm just in between sizes, but I did love skating them.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that works. That some people swear by a skate and they'll be like, "Oh, this is perfect for you. You'll love this." And then you try it and you're like, "That caused me nothing but pain." Like, what are you talking about? Just because everyone's feet are so ridiculously different that just little quirks like feet arches and all this stuff that you just don't think about until you've skated for like 10 years and you're like, "Oh, that's why that didn't work."
Yeah, my friends do make fun of me though, because I am like, any skate that I skate, I'm like, this is the best skate. I like swear by any skate that I'm skating. Like when I had Adapts, it was like, this is the best skate. Like you can't get a better skate than the skate. This is perfect skate. And then I would skate like Solomon. I did like a Solomon with like the,
I saw the modded one you had. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, Solomon, you can't go wrong. Solomon, like, but this is the best. It's literally the best. And they're like, okay, Case. And I'm like skating Aeons. I'm like, Aeons, dude, it's one piece. It's the best. I'm like skating them. So I'm like, this is the best. So you can't listen to me when it comes to skates. Any skate I put out, I'm like, oh, this is best.
I was about to say, so now what you're saying is they no longer trust your opinion on anything to do with skate products because they're like, oh yeah, cool. What's Casey going to say? It's great. Sweet.
Yeah. You can't listen to me. But I did love Adapts. I think what happened is I got a pair of Solomons just to roll around in, just to like take my dog on a walk and stuff. And it was like a flat setup. And I just missed having a buckle, honestly, because I take the buckle, like the strap off of Aeons,
right?
And I just tie them up to the top really tight.
Oh yeah, that thing across the front is stupid and doesn't do anything, and it pops open all the time. Like the one on the Aeons, and it rattles. Like there's, yeah.
That's my other thing. That's my biggest pet peeve in skates is the sound.
Yeah, if the noise is bad, you just hate it.
Can't do it. I've always, like, even when I did the Solomons with the Symmetrics sole plate, I put a thin layer of cork board in between the sole and the boot, and that made like a nice like sound.
That's what I was going to say about Adapts. I think they literally are the best sounding because it's just a dull thud when you land. It's not like with some skates, there's a clack, and the clack is really off-putting. But with those, I don't know if it's the material on top of it, but it just compresses all the sound, and every time you land, it sounds really satisfying.
Yeah, I love that.
It's kind of the same with Valos as well. It's got to be something to do with the skin.
Yeah, Adapts sound great, and sound really good too because there's no pieces. It's just all one piece. So when you land, you get that nice thud.
Yeah, that was the thing I couldn't deal with. I couldn't handle the because the cuff didn't move. I like to have forward and backward movement. So there was all attached. That kind of just stuck in my head.
I must have never skated when they had that cuff.
Oh,
you know what? I do know what you're talking about because since my heel is so raised, it made the cuff go like this, and then that put like too much tension on the cuff bolt, and my cuff bolt would come out all the time, or it would get really loose. But I don't know. Maybe they solved that or something. It seems fine now.
So talk us through these 3 sections because there is some stuff in it that is just wild. Like the fact that you just seem to be able to 7 or fakie 7 any street set you find. And I don't really like that three sole on kinks has become like your thing.
I
Like
know. I gotta
you've now done
retire.
that multiple times, and that's like I find soling a rail kind of scary because the option to split it is quite high, whereas with a top sole it feels a little bit safer. But you're just absolutely pinging at three soles. Like you don't go slow at them. And I've noticed before 50 Royales as well, you kind of tend to speed up when you go towards them. It's as if you're like, well, if I go faster, I don't have as high to jump. But a three sole is a highly splittable trick.
Never split. That's me knocking on wood. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely
enjoy our next session, by the way.
Yeah, I'm screwed. I just screwed myself.
Skating up to it and you're like, that fucking bald, specky guys put this shit in my head.
Yeah, I definitely have to stop doing that. I keep hitting kind of the same note with the three sole on kink rails, but
I don't know. You it just seemed to be getting bigger. The first one I saw you do it on looked shorter and sharper, and then the one in was it the most recent section? Was it 3? Was it the ender for 3 or 2?
It was the ender for 2, the yellow kink.
That one was long. That was like spin, grind, and balance.
Yeah, that was actually. I'm glad I got that because before that spot, it was me and John Like, and we were skating. So that rail's in Fontana, this place in California. And it also has like a pretty famous spot that's like a bank to ledge. And I was skating that first. And I was trying 540 alley-oop sole. And so when you spin, for me anyway, off of a bank, I tried it so many times and I locked one, but I couldn't, it wasn't a long enough slide to use it.
Not the same bank to ledge that you do 5 kind on.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That one. Right. Okay. Right. I'm with you now.
Yeah. So I was trying 540 alley-oop sole on that for like maybe 2 hours. So then I was like, John, it's not happening. Let's get out of here. Let's go to the yellow kink. So we go to the yellow kink and John's like John's an afternoon guy. I'm a morning guy, which like we work well together in that regard. John Like, that is. And so it was still kind of morning. Like we had gotten out there pretty early and John was still kind of like trying to warm up or whatever. And I had like sold the rail. I had royaled the rail. And I'm like, dude, I'm like feeling pretty warmed up. Like I was just skating that other spot for 2 hours. Like, I think I'm ready. I think I could 3 sole this. Like, and he was like, yeah, I'm not warmed up yet. Like, go for it. I'll film you. Like, let's get it. And so I tried it and I was like just off axis, just from jumping off a bank and 540ing so many times, like it changed like the equilibrium or something. So I was just like bioing onto the rail and I was like jumping over every time. And I'm like, oh no, like this isn't going to happen. Like this isn't going to work. Like I was, sometimes you'll be like, give yourself a cue, like, okay, you got to stay inside. You got to stay like stair side. I was overcompensating and trying to stay stair side so hard. And I would land 50 feet that way. I was just jumping over, just bio, jumping over. And I was like, all right, Kate's like, if you don't land on the stairs this time, even if you fall, you don't get to try this anymore. And then that was the one that I locked and finished it. And I would have liked to have like gapped to the street or like 180 off, but I was like, whatever, dude, I'll take it. I'm exhausted.
I was wondering because when you're rolling away from it, most people roll away like, yes, like with, the shit eating grin. You rolled away just looking exhausted. You were like, yeah, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah, it was one of those I'll take it moments, not like, yeah, like that was perfect. So yeah, I would have liked to have done it better, but I was also happy with it.
Right.
And my thing now is like, dude, I'm 35. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be perfect. Just have fun.
Unless Alex comes out and then it's showtime.
Then it's showtime. Dumbest thing. Such a grom move.
I don't think you grow. I think if you're that passionate about something, I don't think that goes away. I think that's like, I'm sure if you asked Julio how he feels when he hangs out with like Tom Fry or like those guys, I'm sure he's like, yeah, I get nervous or whatever.
Yeah. You're making me feel better. Thank you.
I'm trying my best, but it's embarrassing for you. I don't want you to feel bad. You kind of touched on it earlier. You mentioned that John Bolino is taller than you, but I remember standing next to John and him being shorter than me. So,
Yeah. So what does that say about me?
it says you're short as fuck. But
I'm a little guy.
I did always wonder that, because whenever you see sections, you're literally skating up to a ledge and the ledge comes up to like your chest. And then you somehow manage to either sweaty it or fish brain it or do something that you shouldn't be able to do on a ledge that's the height of your chest. So I was like, either this guy's freakishly tall and has got hops like Demetrius George, or there's some serious distortion of like you going on here. But because when you're doing those brick banks, I don't know where the hell they are, the red brick banks that you just seem to ignore
LA
that there's
High.
a bank, LA High, you're like, you don't seem to see the bank because you always jump from flat. And I've seen you do about at least 6 or 7 tricks all the way along that thing. It looks high as shit.
Yeah, it's pretty high. I think, I mean, I'm 5'6", so, but I definitely like to skate high stuff. That's one of the things that I can do, is jump pretty high. And also I'm just pretty flexible. So more than like being able to jump crazy high, I could bring my legs up really high and just get into like a little ball. So yeah, I skating high stuff is kind of one thing that I do well, and I try and do that when I can.
Yeah, because most people, when they're like, oh, I've got the high obstacle, but I've only got 2 tricks I can do on it. But you seem to do like a lot of your tricks on, like, even in, I can't remember if it was Pasta La Vista or whatever, the one that you fish brain around that tight curve and then drop to back royale. And I'm like, that doesn't look like you should be able to do that on something that high.
That was definitely the highest thing I've ever done. But with a rocket fish, like, you don't have, all you have to do is get your foot under your ass and you're fine. Like, you don't have to like really get both feet up. The other foot can be lower as long as you're grabbing it. But when I told the guys I wanted to fish brain that, they were like, right, so you're going to jump on the bench first? I was like, no, I think I got this from flat. And they were like, no, you don't. Which made me like, okay, let's see, motherfuckers. But that was definitely the highest thing I've ever gotten onto.
That's
but like I said,
supportive.
with a rocket fish, you just sit down kind of.
I mean, you say that, but your balance still has to be right. You have to have your leg underneath you at the right point. Otherwise, you're just sliding out in your ass.
Yeah.
I love the supportive friendship group though. They're like, they just don't. You're going to waste your time and our time. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't have it. Like, and I have to film. Oh, thanks. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's got to be like an East Coast. I think that's a lot of things that the East Coast share with the UK. That it's a very similar, like kind of like self-deprecating sense of humor. Because whenever I've been to New York and stuff like that, it's just everyone just ragging on each other and like essentially giving each other abuse. Which, if you're from the UK, you're like, oh, I recognize that sense. That's what we do to our friends. So yeah. So we've discovered that you can do insane switch ups. You can jump really high and fakie 7 and forward 7. I forgot to ask. That was one of the things I had on my list. Who would win the 720 contest? You or Bolino? Because you guys have known each other for years, and I know Bolino. I know Bolino loves a 7 down a stair set. So
yeah, I got to give that one to him. He's definitely, there's that big set in Oakland that he forward 7'd with nims on, those white nims. I forget what part it was, but yeah, I like.
Oh, is that not straight? No. What was the tour the Vibrolux tour video? Straight? No. What the hell was that? Pariah? No. What was the one where him and
might have been?
No, that went. It was the one before Pariah. I can't remember what that video was called. I know the one you mean though.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. That's.
I've never seen him fakie 7 though. I've only ever seen him forward 7 a stair set. So you might have him on the going backwards. Have you ever seen John fakie 7 a stair set?
He must have. Yeah. I mean, like way back in the day, in like Old Philly. Yeah, he said fakie 7 to Old Philly stuff. I think he and Montre were trying faking 9s.
That
at one
really
point.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Which imagine that you start fakie and then all of a sudden you're like in a forward 7. Yeah, I think he could probably fakie 7 switch bigger sets than I've fakie 7. I like to do a grind or either in or out of a fakie 7 because I can't do massive sets. Like, so I like to find a medium set that has like a grind either before or after. So it's like, okay, well, that wasn't the biggest set, but at least he lined it.
So, right. So you basically mean one big enough that you've got the time to spin, but not one big enough that you're shitting yourself as you're going up to
Yeah.
it, going, I really don't want to get hurt on this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough. So I still think you should explore that with John. I think you should bust it out in a game of like, do you guys ever play Blade or skate or get bored? I think you should do that. You'd be like, John, when was the last time you did a fakie seven, John?
He could probably fakie seven.
Yeah, he probably could. He strikes me as that really annoying type that can just bring it. You go, I've never seen him do this. And you do like an acid royale or something, and then he's like, oh no, I've done loads of those.
Yeah, he literally likes. Usually, so far the pattern is like 3/4 into filming his VOD. He'll be like, right, today's a switch day. I need some switch tricks. Like, have you ever thought that? Like, oh, I'm just going to go out today and
only going to do unnaturals today. Yeah, no, never.
He thinks like that. He's like, oh, I need some switch shit for my part. Like today will just be a switch day. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. I'm having trouble getting like 3 clips a day, and I'm only spinning one way and only grinding one way. But yeah, he's a prodigy. Yeah.
Another thing Greg mentioned in his chat, he was talking about Julio. Julio hurt his knee, so just only skated switch for God knows. I don't know how long he said it was, but it sounded like an extended period. And he was like, "Oh, so all the tricks that we filmed in, I can't remember if it was Momentum or Independent." He was like, "Oh yeah, all those fish brains and topsoils were switch." And I was like, I'm not switch fish braining in it. I'm not switch fish braining like a quarter. Like I'm not. Yeah. So doing it down handrails is just, that concept makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Bonkers. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I talked to John about that. I think he was saying like it's more like the arrangement of like which leg is in front, based on that knee injury that he had to adapt to. Which I'm like, that's crazy. Like I can do some stuff switch that's actually easier. Like if you're doing like a top mist, you do it off your natural backslide or something, or like a misfit, you do it off your natural torque. But like
that makes sense, because that's like it's not my natural soul, but it is my natural backslide foot. So that that does make sense. Yeah. But just changing. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, no part of that. No, thank you.
So you're saying, did you say number 4 is going to be out next week?
Could be this week. Maybe. What's today? Monday. So I'm hoping to put it out. It's done. Yeah. I'm just waiting to get the Super 8 back. And once I get the Super 8, I'll plug in the Super 8 to like the parts that are just black right now. And it's done. And same thing with Bolino. He's done filming as well. We're just waiting for his Super 8 and we'll plug that in. So you'll get mine, and then you got to pay up for that good one, for the proper Bolino part.
You're really milking this Super 8 angle. You're going to cheapen this by just shoving it in everything, right? It's not, is this going to be 2020's what was it everyone used to do in like the early 2000s? What the hell was that annoying effect? Like not stop motion, but like every skate video for a while was either in HD and always time lapse. Every skate video had a time lapse for it felt like a 5-year period. Is this Super 8 going to become the new time lapse?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like Super 8's kind of always been there. They always use it in skateboarding and like BMX and stuff. And Alex's part that just came out, Greg used Super 8.
Which was that was kind of a shock, because there was no promo for that, no even indication that a new section was coming out, and then they just released, like, it was like, there you go, and it was wild. So it was good.
So good. I watched it this morning for the 100th time.
Yeah, I will grom out in Alex's stuff. I'll watch that quite a few times. So you've got a new part coming out. Bolino's getting a new part coming out. When's the new Black Bandit thing going to happen? What are you saying it's called? Charles Broccoli.
Charles Broccoli. Yeah, that's right.
Who came up with that?
Your boy. I came up with that one.
Okay.
That one, we went through a lot of names, but landed with Charles Broccoli. Those guys are all done too. They were done for the most part, like before. They were done in like February. It's just, they were like, I'd like to get a couple more tricks. And then the big thing keeping us from putting that out is that we just want to have a big party. Like that's the main motivation for those guys, like John in particular, to have like a big celebration and a big rager. John's like throws a good party and just loves that that big payoff, like, you know, getting hurt and going out and getting tricks like that. The big payoff for him is the party. So I don't think they're going to put that out until they can have a big enough party with especially in California with Corona. I don't know how soon that'll be, but the parts for the most part are done. I know John's part is done. Dempsey's done. Nick Taylor's done. So they could put it out. For me, it's a little bit painful, the premiere, because I don't like everybody watching my stuff. It's awkward for me.
Right.
So I'm kind of like cringy when my part's gone. That's why we always put my part first, because I just want to get it over with. So for me, I'm uncomfortable watching my skating with it in a big party with a bunch of people. So that's why I was like, let me just put out what I got, because I can't stand sitting on footage for too long. I just get sick of it. But yeah, those guys could put it out whenever. But yeah, my part will probably be out this week.
That's quite funny, because you guys give off the impression as a collective that you're all kind of showmen to a certain extent. Like I'm quite surprised to find that you're like, nah, I don't like the spotlight. Get that the hell. Because John in particular is like, John seems like the kind of like Chris Edwards figure of your like little like group. And I could see him very much being like the guy at the party is like, hey, and, you know, chatting away to everyone. But I also kind of get that impression from everyone, that everyone like, you know, Mike and Mark both seem like quite goofy and funny. And yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, I just get probably a little bit too in my head or insecure about just with skating stuff. But yeah, I'm always happy to put my part first and get it over with, and then party the rest of the night.
Right. John told me he invites you guys invite a bunch of people that don't skate as well. Like you just come and it's basically just a spectacle and an excuse to get drunk and party all night.
Yeah, John's a party animal. Yeah, no, that's accurate. Like at our premieres, it's probably mostly non-bladers.
Right.
But yeah, that's the other thing. It's like they don't know what the hell they're looking at. But
they don't care that it's true spin and it's got a full cab out. They all just look the same. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that I mean, I think that's why Mike has like made. I mean, he's just creative and crazy anyway. So, but like, you know, having cool, crazy, weird things in his part and editing it wild. Like he knows that on the premiere night, like he just wants it to be entertaining. Like he doesn't necessarily care if it's like. Obviously his tricks are insane and he can do shit that nobody else can do, but he always makes his parts super entertaining, partially for that reason, because at the premiere, you know, half of the people aren't bladers.
I think it's one of these that you guys kind of operate on like the fringe of blading. Like none of you guys are sponsored. Like John's mentioned it before that he's got no desire to be, like he's just got other stuff going on, but yet every year people look forward to you guys releasing something because they know that the level of skating is going to be great and it's going to be an original concept, or at least a funny and entertaining concept. And it feels like more than just a skate video. It feels like something that you could show to a friend that doesn't skate and they'd be like, oh God, these guys, like, because it looks like you're having a lot of fun and it's funny to watch. And I think it's something that like transcends just being a skate video. It is,
thanks, man.
It is pure entertainment.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I think for me, if you watch them, my part is always just kind of straight skating. It's not anything
that has not crazy. That's not gone without me. I'm like, cool. This guy's not that funny because he doesn't have any stuff, and he's just got the skating.
Yeah. I try and keep it pretty. I try and keep like comedy, and skating. Except with like, you know, the intros and the bonus and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just everybody's personality in our crew is different. That's the other thing. We all are responsible for our own parts. So Dempsey edits his, John edits his, Nick edits his, I edit mine. So like you have a weird amalgamation of personal styles in every video because it's not just one person making the whole thing, which I think makes it cool. Like I can't edit like Dempsey. I'm not like putting narration in it like John. So it's a cool kind of hodgepodge of styles because we're all responsible for our own parts.
But that is what, like, and despite the fact that, yeah, because I remember John mentioned, oh, we all edit our own stuff, it still does look cohesive. It doesn't look like 5 or 6 completely different. It just looks like you're getting an insight into each person's personality, because Mark's always just look a little bit, let's be honest, weird. It's always just like a bit weird and a bit really random. And then John likes are always like kind of like cheesy, kind of, it's always get some kind of reference to a film or like something like
Kitschy,
that.
yeah.
And yeah, so despite it doesn't look like it's made by, it doesn't look like it's just kind of shoved together. It does look like each part belongs in the one piece.
Yeah, that's probably also like there is some level of consistency since we've been doing it so long, and everybody has their own style. So every time the video comes out, like you know you're going to get a weird thing from Mark. You know you're going to get something, out there from John. So yeah, I think just our consistency in putting something out every year, and everybody maintaining their style, probably bridges that gap of like crazy versus like fully cohesive.
Well, that's it, because I mean, you guys are a friendship group for a reason. So it's like you guys do have shared interests and a shared or similar sense of humor. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been friends for so long. So it obviously translates into making these videos.
Yeah.
So the worrying thing is, I don't know if I really want to wish you well for your career, because it seems like the worse your career gets, the more skating content we want. So maybe I'm hoping for your film career to be sabotaged.
Yeah, never get a job ever again. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying, but I'm not trying that hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm trying to get a new gig, but between me and you, I'm okay with how things are going.
So basically, you're getting by, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, 2020 was just a crazy year. It was a weird year, and I was just like, look, I'm just going to focus on what I can control and what, like, honestly is going to keep me sane. And also just having the opportunity of, one, the time, and two, like, spot availability. Like, when everything was closed down, like, you could skate it now. Like, me and John did a couple of days downtown skating stuff that normally is you get kicked out like that. And, this was after like the first like super shutdown. Like, we obviously stayed inside for that. But then once things started to open up, you could skate spots that normally you couldn't in LA. So just we took that opportunity.
That must have been pretty wild, being able to, skate like stuff. You're like, I've never even been able to put my skates on here before, and now I'm getting to session it. What was it like going out filming during, because, well, in the UK, we just had strict ones where it's like, you stay your ass inside and you're allowed to go out for a walk or go to the shops. So we just, most of us didn't even bother. What was it like skating around what's essentially a metropolis and having it to yourself? That must have been kind of weird, like cool and weird. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It was cool and weird. It was like, it was almost felt like The Walking Dead or something, or like some zombie movie where it was like, this is a ghost town. And it was strange. Like, the highways being empty, like the street downtown LA just being like completely empty. It was weird, but it was also kind of cool and kind of fun. And, we were also trying to be safe and like hand sanitize and masks and all that stuff. And, steering clear of people and trying to do it safely, but also, it was weird. I remember one day we went out and we were skating a school, and the school was covered in caution tape. Like, everything was just caution tape. It was like at the beginning. And we were like, should we be doing this? Like, you're already sketchy hopping a fence and skating to school anyway. Like, I'm a adult man. I'm 35. I'm hopping a fence and skating inside of school. I get that's just what we do. But like, if you stop and think about it, it's already a little bit weird.
And it's weird on multiple levels. Yeah.
It's weird on multiple levels. And then, what, now we're also in a pandemic, and this particular school is like covered in caution tape. So we like got my trick and like got out of there. That was the one time I felt like this is extra weird. So yeah, we got in and got out on that one.
It adds a new dimension to it. Yeah, I know what you mean, because if you look up skate spots in Google Maps and you're like, well, most of the good skate spots are either outside schools or churches, and then you're like, someone sees my Google history and they're like, why is this guy looking up all these schools? This looks weird as hell. So yeah, did you guys ever run into like police or anything like that while you're out? Because at the best of times, in my experience, police are rarely pissed off with you skating. More often than not, they're just confused. And especially as you get older, they're like, when you're a kid, they're like, man, what you like, you're gonna hurt yourself, behave. And then when they see you when you're older and you're out filming and skating, they're like, don't you have anything better to do? But they're rarely angry. More often than not, they're just a bit like puzzled. Like, is this what you're spending your time doing? Like, so
normally
was there any time they met you during coronavirus? Because they're like, everyone's inside except you idiots trying to hurt yourselves on a stair set.
There was one time we were skating a school, and this is on towards more like the end of quarantine, but also like there were like protests and stuff going on in LA, and it was gnarly. So we were skating this school that had a particularly high fence, like 20-foot, like not chain link, like straight bar kind of fence, like tough to get in. But we were skating these ledges in there, and some cops came up to the wall and were like, we looked at they were just looking at us, and we were like, hey, what's up? Like, are we okay? And they're like, yeah, we got bigger fish to fry. We're not hopping this fence.
I was about to say, they're like, get out, and you're like, you're gonna have to come in and get me. You're like, I'm not doing that.
They were just like, right, you're not drinking or breaking stuff. We're like, no. They're like, all right, go ahead and rollerblade. Like there's like riots going on over here, and like there's a pandemic over here. Like whatever, guys. They were just like more exhausted than like anything. They're like, okay, fine, skate.
When you put it in that context, it's like, they're like, we've got other stuff that we can be busying ourselves with. Plus, I've always found that quite funny when you're skating a spot that's quite hard to access, and then someone sees you doing it and they're like, get the hell out of there, and you're like, make me.
What are you gonna do?
It's gonna be more effort on your part getting over this fence, and then even if you get over, you can't get me back over.
Exactly.
If I don't climb on my own, it's not happening. That's pretty crazy. So what's it like being out with John now? Is he like motivated to do, because it basically sounds like as soon as you finished that one VOD section, it kind of seems like you just instantly got to work on another one. He
had new clips already before his last VOD was out. He's just super productive, and right now he's super focused on skating. It's no problem for him to get moves, especially when it's just me and him, because he'll pick me up early and he'll have spots in mind. Like he has a plan, and he knows like at least if not like exact moves he wants to do, he'll at least have like 3 to 5 spots lined up. So he's extremely skilled and extremely motivated and comes prepared. Some days we'll get out later, and if we have more people, it's just naturally inherently less productive. We just have more variables. But on like the days that it's just me and him, there hasn't been a time that he hasn't come back with at least 5 clips. So and they're all bangers. Like they're all crazy tricks. He has no problem accruing footage.
Because it kind of sounds like if he's getting you out and it's just you two guys going about, it seems like it's a very concentrated effort to make it as productive as possible, because most people, even like most pro skaters or people that have been pro or whatever, they tend to like prefer skating in a group. Like they tend to go, I don't just want the attention to be on me, or I don't, it's tough to motivate yourself because you're not. But it kind of sounds like he's got all the motivation he needs. He's like, I'm ready to go.
And we still do group days. Like we'll pepper in just a day, me and him, if we know like Darce is working, or Bill is busy, or like if the squad is doing their own thing, we'll still pepper in days just me and him. But yeah, I think the time off just was just what he needed. And he came back recharged and super motivated.
So Sean Dar skates for you guys a lot. Does that mean you're gonna get some clips of Darst? Because he kind of hides in the shadows a bit. You don't see him that much.
Yeah, he's a smooth criminal at Darst. He's a smooth criminal. Yeah, I mean, whenever we go out, I always film him too. And my thing is like, I'll Dropbox you your clip. By the time you get home, you'll have an email with all your clips from that day. So yeah, I've some stuff he just posts on Instagram. I think he's gotten some moves that he's kept. He might be working on something.
I know he's working on Greg's let slip that he's working on a section with Darst. So I was wondering, but I thought if
so
you're
I don't know if they're going to
John
mix him in. Yeah, I don't know if Greg's editing it, if they're willing to mix in stuff from a different camera. But yeah, I think I've filmed some moves of his that I haven't seen surface on Instagram. But he's so sick. Darst is so sick. Like he just thinks of spots. He just sees different shit at a spot. And yeah, I wish I could think like he thinks sometimes, because he's super talented, but just like so smart. And like we'll get to a spot and he'll just kind of like sit for a little bit and like look around and just like take it in and be like, okay, I think I'll do this. Like something that I never saw, like a wall ride or like a roll in to or out of a trick. Just like, yeah, he's a smart blader.
He is one of those people that, yeah, I think it's very difficult to grasp just exactly what it is he's doing. So I think a lot of people, like when his Pro Skate promo came out, it wasn't really that popular. And some of the comments underneath it were like, oh, well, this is just this and this and this. But you're like, yeah, but it's how he does it. That's the thing, because he skates kind of like on anyone else. Like when you see him skate, he very much has this. And I don't know whether it is because he keeps himself to himself, or he's quite quiet, or doesn't put himself out there, but he's got like something about him that you can't really put your finger on. Yeah. And I think it's just very tough to show that in video, maybe, or it's harder to show how.
I think it comes across, but definitely skating with him in person, I have even another level of appreciation, just because it's like, look, Casey, you have the same opportunity. Yeah, you could do. Oh shit, I didn't think of that, or I didn't see that, and then he does it perfectly with like the best style. You're like, damn, that's. Yeah, he's smart blader.
I think that's what I mean. It's easier to appreciate when you see it in person than when you see it, because then you actually understand.
That's all, yeah, that's always the case. Anybody like, it's always easy to see a spot and be like, oh damn, oh that spot is sick, or like that. Oh, I wish I had that spot, and then you get to the spot and you're like, what? It's like
this is terrible. Why did he even skate this?
This is difficult. I don't. Yeah, no. Yeah. That's always the case. I mean, yeah, if everything translated to video as well as it was in real life, it'd be different. But you have to be on that level to make it look, fun and hard and amazing all at once without having to be there in person, which I think the best bladers do.
This is also true. So to recap, you've got one section coming out on your own, Casadilla. You've got the new Black Bandit video whenever it surfaces. Hopefully, once this vaccine gets rolled out, or whether it dampens down. And then a John Bolino VOD. It sounds like you've got a lot of stuff, not even in the works, done and coming out imminently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
That sums it up. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it does feel good, like to be done. I wanted to finish the thing that I was working on, albeit short. Just like it's just another like 2.5 minute deal, but I wanted to get it done before the end of the year and just like start clean and start fresh. Like I don't know, I'm a little bit OCD in that way, where if like I have a deadline or I have a goal, like I want to get it done within that time period and be able to like start fresh and just feel clean.
So now that we're going to have 4 quesadillas, and a quesadilla is essentially, an appetizer, that means you have to make a big long one that's going to be a main meal, and it's going to be like burrito or like, you know, enchilada, or although none of that works for your name, so you can't,
I know.
it kind of fucks up the play on words. But you know,
Yeah.
if you're going with the food theme, which you guys clearly are, then you
Mhm.
need to, you can't just have, you know, 4 snacks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think all the homies are like a little bit they're like, dude, you're gonna call it quesadilla again? Like, let's call it something else.
Do you
So
have any
I think
do you have any original ideas or better?
Yeah.
Like, what, you're really you're wearing this one out.
I know. So this will be the end of the quesadilla series, I promise. And yeah, whatever I do next year, I may try and hang on to the footage for as long as I can and make something a little bit longer. But I am looking forward to like taking a little bit of a break too. Just been out in the streets a lot, and I need to like let the body heal and just hit up the Sunday brunches and do a little bit of surfing and chill, and then recharge and get back out in the streets.
And then punish your body some more.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the plan. Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you very much for taking some time off in your morning to do this. And
Thanks for
can't
having
wait
me.
to see everything that comes out. Really looking forward to your new section and John's new section. So yeah, great. Can't wait to see them.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, just keep your eyes peeled to like John's Instagram, my Instagram. He'll have like the proper release date. I'm thinking this week. So yeah, definitely something that you'll want to buy. And it'll probably, you know, it'll be cheap. It'll be like $5 or whatever. So if you don't buy it, you suck.
Yeah, just give up the beer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can release 4 more sections, and we'll talk again this time next year. Yeah.
Right on.
Right. Cool. Right. Speak soon.